Hey, welcome back to the Comic Cosmos. Today we'll be reviewing Stargirl Season 1, Episode 3, and giving you an in-depth breakdown, Easter eggs, and theories. Spoilers ahead for Episode 3. Enjoy. So in the previous episode, we got to meet almost all the characters that will be a part of the season. And if you haven't watched that video, then, well, what are you doing here? Anyway, the last episode we had Stargirl fight Brainwave, and most importantly, Stripe was introduced and named
Subatomic Tactical Robot, Internet Pat Enhancer.
We left off with Jordan Markent, aka Icicle, saying that he would kill Stargirl. And at the start of episode 3, we actually start off with him as well, but a flashback of 8 years into the past. So that would actually be 2 years after the JSA were defeated. So in the flashback, Jordan visits his wife with his son Cameron Markent, who we got a glimpse of in the last episode, and she is dying of what we later learn is because she was exposed to dangerous chemicals, and we see this is what motivates him to do what he is doing, as she told him in her dying words to build a new world for her son and destroy anyone in his way. We then go back to the present day where Courtney is getting ready to go to school, and is very desperate to find the other members of the Injustice Society and revenge her dad, Starman. Or, maybe not, but, it seems like Pat kind of gave up on telling her that he isn't. So she tells him about her 3-point plan.
Find them, surprise them, kick their asses.
And it doesn't really seem like he's very impressed with it, but
Tough crowd.
So we check back on Brainwave. He was still in a coma, and his son is there waiting for his dad to wake up, and it seems that he may have started to get his power as he moves a coffee cup with his mind. Jordan also comes to visit him in the hospital and to pay his respects. We go back to William Zarek's house, in which we saw last episode, and we get to see his son, Joey Zarek, who is into card magic, and his dad gives him a few pointers to, step up his game as a magician. We also see that William is avoiding Jordan's calls, and we get to see even more that he isn't really fully committed to the Injustice Society. We are then taken to Blue Valley High School, where everyone is looking at and wondering what happened to the sign, which was destroyed by the cosmic staff when Courtney fought Brainwave last episode, and she acts very suspicious as she runs inside and tries to avoid eye contact. She is then confronted by Joey. We see he is a very friendly kid, and as Courtney says later, he was the first person to really accept her at Blue Valley. So he shows her a magic trick, and unfortunately doesn't get it right, but the kind-hearted Courtney saves him from embarrassment and tells everyone he got it right. We also see Cameron for the first time properly, who saw what Courtney did for Joey. Courtney walks through school, and we see Yolanda, who's actually being bullied, and they're spray painting, not very nice words on her locker, and of course Courtney wants to help, but Yolanda seems to take the silent approach when she's bullied. We then go back to the hospital, where Pat is actually checking up on Brainwave, and he learns that Brainwave was helped to the hospital and put into a lab coat, which we later found out was actually done by William. So this is how Pat realizes that there are in fact other members of the Injustice Society in Blue Valley. Jordan gets impatient with William for ghosting him, so he decides to talk to him in person, and asks him about Brainwave and why William never helped him. We also find out that William actually killed his master before finishing his training, and in the comics he actually trained under a llama in Tibet in order to learn the ways of magic before becoming a supervillain. Jordan uses the fact that he doesn't use the full power of the wand as he never finished his training to justify why he isn't worth keeping a part of the Injustice Society, which leads him to do what he does at the end. We then see Pat working on Stripe at his garage, so obviously business is going a little slow with his garage, and he gets a call and we find out that Mike is getting in trouble at school for playing video games during school, and Pat tells Mike that he lived in the golden age of video games, which is a little nod to the golden age of heroes, and he mentions old video games that he used to play, which includes Asteroids, Donkey Kong, Dig Dug, Defender, Spy Hunter, and Paperboy, which, okay, it might be a coincidence, but Paperboy was made in 1985, which is actually the same year when the characters Wildcat, Rick Tyler, and Yolanda Montez were introduced into the comics for the first time. So this inspires Pat to make Mike get a job, handing out papers like his father made him do. And I guess Mike will have something to do for the next episodes. We then see Barbara back at work at the American Dream, and we see that her boss is actually Jordan Markent, and he's much nicer about ideas than Mr. Sharp. And he later sees a picture of Courtney on her desk, which will probably cause problems in later episodes. He then reveals that he was all over America to scout towns to see what everyone else is doing, and that's why he wasn't there at the beginning of the show. And he then reveals that his plan is to build new factories, shops, and everything else, and this is obviously tie-in with the Project New America, which is the end goal of the Injustice Society. Back at school, we saw Courtney try to defend Yolanda against Cindy Berman, who, if you don't know who she is according to the comics, go watch my previous video about the review of episode 2. Cindy then reveals that Yolanda actually used to date Henry King Jr., aka Brainwave's son, when Cindy wanted to, and we see someone cover up the words on Yolanda's locker, who we find out is actually Cameron, who we see likes to draw, which is a little hint about what we find out at the end of the episode. We then go to Blue Valley Maths class.
When am I ever going to use proper and improper fractions? Well, the answer is a fraction of every day. Tough crowd.
So Courtney finds out that Cameron was the one who helped Yolanda, and it's quite interesting to see if there'll be any romantic chemistry going on there between them, and whether he can actually be trusted. And if he takes on his comic book identity as Icicle Jr., whether he'll be a bad or good guy. As right now, he really does seem to be a good-hearted guy. Courtney walks home, and she goes past Rick, which I guess is just to remind us that, he's still here. So she walks through a park, and then gets weirdly iced over, and she realizes that it's Icicle who iced the field in the shape of a star, which Courtney obviously realizes that Icicle is trying to get her to fight. So she tells Pat, and he doesn't agree to go, but after she says she'll go with or without him, he gives in and they go fight Icicle. Stripe gets frozen pretty early in the fight, and Icicle is able to disable the cosmic staff, but fortunately, Pat saves Courtney at the last second by shooting his hand, which it seems that he has finally got working, and Icicle is flown to a bridge, where he freezes the bridge and sends a school bus almost flying off, but Stripe manages to save them with the help of Courtney's flash of light, to I guess stop people from knowing who saved them. We then get to what I would say is arguably where the episode gets interesting, when Icicle kills Joey Zarek, William Zarek's son, and I have to say it really sets up that the show isn't afraid of killing off characters for the sake of the story, and that really excites me. So William and his wife Denise mourn their son, and William goes to get revenge on Icicle, who tells him he was doing it for his son, which is weirdly kind, and he then goes on to kill the wizard. The wizard is dead for now. I mean, is anyone ever really dead when you're dealing with comics? But gone for now at least. I think it could be interesting if they deal with Denise, who lost her husband and her son on the same day, and whether she will try to get revenge or, become a villain or something. So Courtney is still a little shook from her fight, and Pat takes her to see the JSA headquarters, where we see so many old JSA equipment, and all the equipment's conveniently all here to start a new JSA. Anyway, we see the Flash's helmet, which we saw in episode 1, Owlman's hourglass and belt, Wildcat's mask, Dr. Fate's helmet, Dr. Midnight's mask and owl, Green Lantern's lantern, and Johnny Thunder's thunderbolt, which was either put here after the fight by Rex Tyler or Pat. So right at the end, we are brought back to Icicle's home, and it is revealed that Cameron is Jordan's son, Cameron Markent, and I like how the episode started and ended with Jordan and his son. We are then sent off with Courtney taking all the JSA equipment, including Dr. Midnight's owl, from the JSA HQ, and is a nice little teaser to look forward to next episode, which is actually named Wildcat. So it will be introducing the new Wildcat, who, come on, you still don't know who it is. Don't worry, I won't spoil.
Let's go do some recruiting.
So my thoughts on the episode, well, I have to say, we're already on the 3rd episode, and the action only happens a fraction of the time.
Tough crowd.
Don't get me wrong, I love the show, and I can't wait for more episodes. I just hope we get to see more good action and suspense in the episodes to come. All in all, I'm still impressed with the show, and I love this episode. And I gotta mention, the casting for the show just is perfect. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support and hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below on your thoughts and theories on the episode, as well as any Easter eggs you think we missed. Cheers.